Welcome back, everybody. So Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist and lecturer, joins us now to share some tips on what to discuss and agree on before starting a blended family. Morning, Doc. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Morning, Miss. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully no mix-up and blender here. When we're speaking about a blended family, for those who are watching who are not sure what that is, what's the definition?
Well, it's really where two consenting adults come together who would have had children from a previous relationship, and they come together to form a family. Some jurisdiction refer to this family as step family, but it's blended because two different persons from two different previous families come together to form one family. So they would have children and they would come together and be a family, a family unit.
Yeah. We have some talking points, but I just wanted to say before, why is it important to discuss and agree on? Because I feel like people see people, they're attracted to people. I'm in love, you're in love. Hey, love is going to pour us through. But you know, sound like that's what you're saying, Doc?
No. Because, yes, you're in love. The point is, Delia, is that two single persons coming together without any children or, having not been married or not been in a relationship before, come together to get married. We come with our stuff, yeah? And so we have to deal with that in and of itself. But then we come together having that already there and come together with another experience of another relationship.
Wow.
And so that's almost like a double whammy. And so it is important that we consider what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the various impacts that it can have on us and also on the children who are within the relationship. So it should not be entered in lightly.
Okay.
Generally speaking, any permanent relationship, it shouldn't be entered in lightly, but this one more than all, because you're coming with so much stuff.
Yeah. So like you're saying, get that counseling in before you jump in. Yeah. Okay, let's go to some of our talking points. It says, define what you each bring to the table that will have a positive influence on each other's children. Okay. It sounds so stoic, but it's important.
As Delia said, you fall in love and you're just so, all over the moon. And this person is so wonderful. But apart from the material things that you would want to contribute, you're going to take in whatever qualities you would have, your spouse would have admired about you. And so you would have had some parenting skills and all of that. And you want to bring that and to sharpen that so that it makes the marriage and the family unit more effective and more efficient and really worthwhile to be in. But what I also want to say is that what you don't want to bring in as a part of what you're contributing to the relationship are unresolved issues. You want to get into individual and couples or premarital, however you want to phrase it, counseling prior to getting into a permanent relationship with someone in this regard. Generally speaking, you should, but more so now that you're coming with stuff. And even if your first relationship was where your spouse died, but you still have issues that you would want to think about and to see whether there are things that you really need to work through. And the counselor will help you to navigate those.
Should the kids be a part of that counseling as well?
It should be a part of it because particularly whether teenagers or just kids below that age, but more so if they're teenagers. Because very often children are saying, oh, you didn't ask me, you didn't ask my permission. I'm like, hello, to go into this relationship.
Yeah.
But what they're trying to say is that I'm part of this too. So we need to not say, what a face child or whatever, but we need to recognize that they are expressing that, yes, you are making a major decision and that decision is going to impact us. And we basically want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so if you contemplate all the various things that you're bringing in, you want to bring the children into the counseling mix so that they can express and there can be some kind of groundwork so that the children understand. Because understand, because they each parent would be living with their children over a whatever period of time. And so maybe the older child may be part of the hierarchy of that family. And now that new person come in, the hierarchy kind of mash up.
Right.
And so it's a reorganizing, it's a restructuring.
Sure.
And that in and of itself can be a negative impact on the child.
All right. In the interest of time, I'm not sure we can go through all 9. So I'm going to probably skip a few. Number 3, define how you will each support the other in your roles as step parents. So we spoke about what you bring to the table in general and to the children, but this says, how are you going to support each other as step parents?
Well, a very important thing to do is to establish a structure. Establish a new structure and be sensitive to the other children, whether of your new spouse. Ensure that you do not speak against your spouse in public.
Yes.
Let you speaking against be when you're behind closed doors that you deal with stuff. But don't let the children feel that you two are not on the same side. Because children will play you. Children will play you.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to be privately.
Like a guitar.
And so even if you don't agree with how one parent handled the matter, whether it is their biological child or not, or handle the situation, because it may not be a child, it may just be a situation. You express it. Even if you have to express it openly, you express it in a way which includes love and care. So it does not come across as manipulation and come across as being disrespectful, because you're setting a precedence for your children.
And this says how you will each support each other in your roles as step parents. I want to sit on that word roles a little bit and tie it into 5 and 6, which is conflict resolution and shows of respect towards your stepchild, right? Because that's where a lot of issues sometimes stem. Like, what are the boundaries within which you can discipline my child? What are the boundaries within which I can discipline your child? Or are we all free to do, what we do with our own child because we're all one blended family now? I mean, it's really important to set those boundaries.
Right. So one of the things that I recommend to parents in this regard is that you as you set up the hierarchy, as you set up the structure, is that particularly if they are young children, that you have some system, some scheduling or some system that says, if you do this, these are the consequences, which both parents would sign off on. You remember the saying where your mother would say, right, wait until your father gets home. In this case, this principle is okay, because each parent should be given the opportunity to be one to discipline, and I use the word discipline rather than punish, to discipline his or her child. If the parent is not around or will not be around for a while based on whatever reason, consult with the parent so that you have an agreement. But don't go ahead and say, no, me your mother, no, I'm going to lick you and whatever. So you have to be wise, because at the end of the day, this can cause major conflict. Each person may have their different parenting style as well. And with that can be very difficult. So respect those boundaries. Recognize that you should leave the parenting role, the extreme roles. Because if a child is doing something and the child is there, you can correct the child in terms of what they're doing and guide them. But it should always be on the line with love and care and regard.
Yeah. Share expectations you both have as your role of step parent. And what I like about this, which is number 8, is that it says it may take time after the marriage for the roles to be firmly established. So we can discuss it and agree, but don't believe that as we move in together, it's all going to be okay.
Right. So I do remember I started by saying that we need to establish the structure.
Correct.
So we need to decide who is the head and who is the subhead and who is the subhead and so on. So and those things need to be established with the children.
And important.
And as you play it out daily, as you play it out in with circumstances and situations as they come along, this is one thing to say, oh, this is what it is, I'm the head of the house, but are you assuming that role properly? And so each member of the couple must support each other to say, hey, remember that this is what this is where you are and you're the one in charge and so on and so forth. And those of us ladies who sometimes just want to take over, we have to step back
Yeah.
and give the man.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some men are not very assertive, but we have to try and help them to appreciate. Because I still believe that the man is the head of us.
There you go.
And then it's important, Doc, as we wrap, to nurture the marriage, even while you try to build out the blended family, right? Because that's the nucleus.
Exactly. So as a parent, as parents, as a couple, you should try to find time for you. So we talk about date nights, we talk about time with the family, and the COVID-19 pandemic is not as bad as it is bad, but you can extract or you can utilize it in positive ways. And so my suggestion is that you find time for each other, find time to do stuff together, and let it be a routine so that children are aware, oh, this is mommy and daddy's date night or time for each other. But don't just say, boy, it's too much time and so, because it's harder to work on that relationship than other relationships because of the nature of the relationship.
All right.
And so you have to find time to spend time together as a family, but also as a couple to maintain the strength of the relationship that you have.
All right. Thank you so much, Doc, for sharing with us. Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist and lecturer. Up next, Girl Talk continues this discussion. We'll soon come.